3 Seconds to Rush. Piper Anderson Legacy Mystery, Volume 1. Written by Danielle Stewart. Narrated by Laura Jennings. Chapter 1. Tara's nose filled with pungent fumes reminiscent of her short-lived job as a housekeeper in a rundown motel. The place had always been so dingy, regardless of how much bleach she used on the rings in the tub, or the amount of muscle she put into ridding the grubby walls of marks. Nothing ever really came clean. But the clientele who frequented the facility didn't notice. They weren't on vacation. They were all there to escape, to hide. At the end of every shift, Tara would smell like the cleaning aisle of the supermarket and feel like she hardly accomplished anything. But Tara wasn't at the motel. She hadn't worked that job in over 2 years. So where was the smell coming from? If her eyes could open, she'd be able to figure it out. No matter how she ordered her lids to rise, they would not comply. Other senses began to return, however. Incessant beeping, and the hum of people clamoring around her suddenly flooded in. The hands on her body were the next sensation, followed immediately by stinging. Immense pain tugged and shredded her skin, as though she was being yanked in every direction, about to burst apart. Tara heard a far-off cry, a shriek that petrified her as never before. It wasn't until she felt her vocal cords strain that she realized the scream was her own. "Calm down," she heard a woman order as her shoulders were pressed back violently and pinned. "We can't help you if you fight." "Open," she demanded of her eyes. "Open so I can make sense of this," she thought. Finally, her eyes complied, letting the bright halogen lights overhead bleed in. There were faces above her. Strangers. What's happening?" She stuttered out, trying to lift her arms but realizing they were restrained. Her legs flailed until someone grabbed her by the ankles and slammed them down. "We will sedate you if you don't cooperate," the same nasally and stern voice explained. "What's happening?" Tara cried out in terror. "You're in Holton General Hospital. You're being treated for an overdose." This voice was new, a man with a foreign accent and a slightly softer tone. She focused her eyes on his face, and slowly it became clearer. He was a slump-shouldered Indian man with a pockmarked face and large gold-rimmed glasses. His smile was yellow, and his eyes were black and circled in darkness. But there was something comforting about the way he was looking down over her. "An overdose?" she asked, attempting to move her hands again, forgetting the restraints. "Stop fighting," the angry woman demanded impatiently. "I can't draw her blood like this." She snapped and huffed, her dramatic noises sounding like a pissed-off one-man band. The doctor's face hovered gently over Tara's. "Can you stay calm for me?" he asked, touching her shoulder firmly. She nodded her head and pinched her eyes closed. Tara wasn't fighting the restraints. She was fighting for reality. If this was a nightmare, she was totally engaged, like no dream she'd ever had before. A flash of a face suddenly crossed her mind. She saw pudgy, overstuffed cheeks that butted up to a round, freckled nose. 2 almond-shaped brown eyes flecked with gold and damp with tears appeared next. Finally, the wispy curls fell across a forehead, and it made Tara cry out. "Wiley!" she bellowed as she began flailing her arms and legs again. "My son! Where is my son?" "She's going to pull out her IV," the nurse protested. "Sedate her," the kinder doctor ordered, sounding apologetic and disappointed. She didn't hear anything else over her own screaming, as darkness crept in and folded over her body. But she knew the world was slipping away. She tried to fight it as the last few words of the nurse crept in. "She finally asked about her son. I was wondering if she even cared about what happened to him." Chapter 2.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.